Africa, what do you think of when you hear that word? So for some, it's lions, elephants, stunning sunsets that look like they were painted by God. For others, it's images of poverty and war, the late night charity commercials that make you feel guilty. But here's the thing. It's not just one story. A continent of 54 countries, over 1 billion people, more languages than you can count. And let me tell you, it is rich. Not just culture and music, actual, tangible, get your hands dirty. Rich as diamonds in Botswana, oil in Nigeria, cobalt in the Congo, cocoa in Ghana. You'd think Africa would be the world's VIP lounge, glittering cities, futuristic trains, everyone with a little extra spring in their step. The potential is staggering, but then it gets complicated. Triumph becomes a tragedy with too many villains. Wealth that should lift everyone makes a few people incredibly rich, while everyone else is left wondering where the money went. So let's talk about this word corruption. It sounds like something very official and complicated, like a term you'd hear in a serious news report before you change the channel to watch a cat video. Imagine your country is a giant bucket. The rain is all the money coming in. From oil, from diamonds, from taxes, from all those valuable resources. But corruption is like holes drilled in the bottom of the bucket. The money pours in, but it leaks out just as fast into the pockets of a select few. Now, this isn't a few missing dollars, we're talking billions. The African Union says about 1/4 of the continent's GDP is lost to corruption every year. That's around $148 billion. Put in perspective, end extreme poverty several times over, build universities that rival Harvard, hospitals that make the Mayo Clinic look outdated, give every child a world-class education. Instead, the money vanishes. It pays for mansions in London, luxury cars in Paris, secret bank accounts in Switzerland. It's a silent thief stealing the future from millions of children. The real-world effects are devastating and personal. This is not a victimless crime. Victims are ordinary people trying to build a life under a rigged system. Every good story needs a villain, and in the story of African corruption, the villains are often known as big men. These aren't necessarily large gentlemen. It's a term for powerful leaders who see their country's treasury as their personal piggy bank. They rule through a system of patronage where loyalty is rewarded with cash contracts, government positions. It's not about what you know, it's about who you know, and more importantly, who you pay. Let's look at Nigeria, a country blessed with so much oil, it could probably deep fry the moon. For decades, the story has been the same. Vast oil revenues come in, and then they mysteriously disappear. One infamous example is the case of Sani Abacha, a military dictator who ruled in the 1990s. It's estimated that he and his associates looted up to $5 billion from the country's coffers. This isn't just a Nigerian problem, of course. In the Democratic Republic of Congo, a country with mineral wealth estimated to be worth over $24 trillion, the people are among the poorest in the world. In my home country of South Africa, we had our own drama with state capture. It's a perfect storm of power and greed, and ordinary citizens are the ones left to drown. Now, you'd think a little help from the outside world would be a good thing, right? Enter foreign aid. The idea is beautiful and simple. Wealthy countries give money to poorer countries to help them build schools, fight disease, feed their people. But here's where it gets awkward. It's kind of like giving a bottle of whiskey to an alcoholic and telling him to use it to water his plants. The big men we talked about see this flood of cash not as an opportunity to help their peoples, but as another pot of money to raid. The aid money becomes just another source of income for them, reducing their need to be accountable to their own citizens. This creates a dangerous dependency. Governments can become more focused on pleasing foreign donors than on serving their own people. The economist Dambisa Moyo from Zambia wrote a whole book about this called Dead Aid, arguing that this cycle has crippled Africa over the last 50 years. Furthermore, a lot of aid comes with strings attached. A donor country might give money, but insist that it be used to hire companies from their own country or to buy their products. So the aid money goes from the donor country's government to the African country and then right back to a corporation in the donor country. The intention might be to help, but the result is a system that can entrench the very problems it claims to be solving, making the leaky bucket even leakier. Amidst all this doom and gloom, it's easy to think that everyone is either a villain or a victim, but that's not the whole story. All across the continent, there are heroes. These are the people who refuse to be silent, the ones who stand up and say, no, this is not right. They are the journalists, the activists, the lawyers, and the ordinary citizens. They risk their careers, their freedom, and sometimes even their lives to expose corruption and fight for a better future. Take John Gitongo of Kenya, for example. He was appointed as the anti-corruption czar by the government itself. But when he uncovered a massive corruption scandal known as the Anglo Leasing affair that went all the way to the top, he realized his own life was in danger. He had to flee the country and release his findings from exile. His actions sparked a national conversation and put immense pressure on the government. Then you have incredible organizations, often led by young people who are tired of seeing their future stolen. Groups like Budget in Nigeria use technology to make government budgets simple and accessible to everyone. They create infographics and use social media to track public spending, asking simple questions like, the government said it would build a school here, where is it? By empowering citizens with information, they turn every person into a potential watchdog. These people are the immune system of the continent, fighting the disease of corruption from within. They remind us that Africa is not a passive victim. Alright, so we've established that corruption is a huge problem and that foreign aid isn't the magic wand we thought it was. It's easy to feel hopeless at this point, but it's not hopeless. There are real practical solutions. The first and most powerful tool is transparency. Corruption thrives in the dark. The solution: turn on the lights. Make government spending public. Imagine every citizen going online to see how much was allocated for their school or clinic and tracking how it was being spent. Strengthening institutions is another key step. A police force that can't be bribed. Judges who rule based on the law, an independent media that can investigate without fear. Technology is a powerful ally. Shift to digital payments to cut bribery. Paying for services online removes the cash handoff and the opportunity for extra fees. Biometric ID for voters to prevent rigging. Mobile apps to report corruption instantly and anonymously. Ultimately, it comes down to leadership, not just presidents, every level of society. Leaders driven by service, not greed. Citizens must demand and support them, participating in elections, joining community groups, speaking out against injustice. The solutions exist, waiting for a generation ready for change. So, what have we learned? Africa is a continent of immense wealth and even greater potential. This potential is being suffocated by a crisis of corruption. A few big men are stealing the future from millions. Even well-intentioned help from the outside can sometimes make things worse. It's not a simple joke with an easy punchline. If there is a punchline, it's this: the power to change Africa lies with Africans. The rest of the world can help, but they cannot lead the charge. The fight against corruption isn't just about money. It's about dignity. It's about restoring the basic promise that if you work hard and play by the rules, you can build a better life for yourself and your children. It's about building a society where the son of a farmer has the same opportunity as the son of a minister. This is the dream that fuels the activists, the journalists, the ordinary people pushing back against the darkness. They are not just fighting against something, they are fighting for something. The road ahead is long. You don't undo decades of systemic corruption overnight. It requires patience, resilience, a stubborn refusal to give up. But there will also be victories, small and large. The story of Africa will not be defined by its dictators or its stolen billions. It will be defined by its people, by their incredible spirit, their innovation, their humor, and their unwavering hope for a better tomorrow. The continent's greatest resource isn't the diamonds or the oil under the ground. It's the 1.2 billion people working on top of it. When those people decide together that enough is enough, no amount of money or power can stand in their way. Now that's a punchline worth waiting for. Like, share, subscribe, and follow for more.